Town, what up?
Yeah, and I rock Kentucky blue on these.
So today I have joining with me TJ Beisner, knows everything Kentucky football, Kentucky basketball, mostly Kentucky basketball. TJ, thanks for hopping on here today.
Thanks. I thought you were just going to leave it at knows everything. That was going to be a burden I could not carry, just knowing everything.
Knows everything. So TJ, I know you were at the SEC tournament when all of these cancellations were happening. Walk me through what was happening. Was it an up and down roller coaster? I know you worked directly with the team. What was your personal experience during all of this?
Well, I went down Wednesday morning on the team bus. So we have two team buses. The team actually flew down, and then we have two buses that the staff divides up so we can have the buses down there during the week. So I rode the bus.
That's Kentucky basketball for you.
That is Kentucky basketball. Well, that's why I left early, because one of the buses is nicer than the other one. The player bus has more room. It's made for big guys. So I was like, I'll get on the early bus. But as we're going down there, things started to get canceled. And about 5 minutes to go in practice, Cal called everybody in and said, hey, guys, we're not playing. They're canceling the tournament. You know, we're going to get our stuff. When we get back to the hotel, pack up. We're going home. So went back in the locker room. The guys had just unpacked all the stuff in the locker room, packed it back up, went back to the hotel and left. And that's about a 2.5 hour drive back to Lexington, maybe 3 on the bus. And by the time we got back, they canceled the NCAA tournament. So I was on the staff bus, so it wasn't with the players. I know Cal said it was emotional with the players. But with us, it was just a lot of shock. And so now what? I mean, we were bummed out, obviously, and disappointed. And but at that point, it's just more of a concern of what's going on in the world, because obviously something big is going on. And I don't think most of us, especially me, kind of had a grasp on how big it was at that point.
Kentucky's kind of unique because we just found out that the whole starting 5 is going to be heading into the NBA draft, and no, they're not seniors, but they'll never play a college basketball game again.
Yeah. And that's what was, everybody that was going to play in the postseason has disappointment tied into it, because everybody probably thought they were going to win the national championship. And we were no different. We played really well towards the end of the season, had a bad game, second to last game against Tennessee, where we gave away a big lead and lost. Mm-hmm. But the last game against Florida, we were down 15, I think it was, came back and won the game. And
that was a great game. It
was a great game. And there was just so much enthusiasm and momentum, and everybody was starting to play better as individuals. And so there was this excitement that, you know what, we can do something special. And each of the kids, they're wanting to be professional basketball players. They're each taking these steps where they can do it. So there was that disappointment. I think what hit the hardest for everybody was Nate Sestina, who is a graduate transfer. Was a graduate transfer. I'm still speaking in present tense. I refuse to acknowledge it.
I refuse to let go of him.
Right, yeah, from Bucknell. So he came to Kentucky for 1 year. And, Nate is just a great person, aside from being a basketball player. We all love Nate. And this was an opportunity for him to really experience the NCAA tournament in a big way. And I think, there's disappointment, and maybe as it settles in with all the guys leaving, with Ashton and Emmanuel and Nick and Tyrese and EJ, but Nate, knowing what he'd gone through, it was, no matter what, he didn't have the option to come back. That was it for him. I think that was the part that really kind of bummed everybody out, is knowing that he was going to appreciate that ride as much as anyone. The players understand, like, it's just something that happened, that no one wanted to happen, but they're taking it with maturity and trying to move on with the situation.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that the tournament, the last time it didn't happen was 1938, and then just to have it stop and so quick, I think everybody's kind of just in shock. But like you said, I mean, it's the situation, it's the cards we've been dealt, and you kind of just have to deal with it. People can be upset about it, but unfortunately, everybody is in the same situation moving forward. So as a content creator, how have you been trying to make content that stands out during this time, not being able to interact with the players or your staff or anything like that?
Well, I will tell you that I think everyone knows content is very, very valuable to athletic departments and business in general. It's even more important now. And if there was anybody in your organization who didn't see the value in content, they see it now, because that is something that if done right, doesn't go away. So we were able to find classic games, which fortunately at Kentucky, there are a lot of those. So we were able to buy some rights to some games and created basically a run to a national championship on the radio featuring national championship games and classic moments in Kentucky history. So that we were able to fill that part of radio. And then digitally, we have just used Zoom, I think, like a lot of people are using. We have podcasts, which we've been doing, which are now video podcasts as well. And honestly,
Justice. You have
with Joel Justice behind Kentucky basketball. So I think what it's doing, and it's like any crisis, you can either panic and make bad choices, the short term, and freak out, or you can panic for a little bit and then try to create solutions and come out of it better. And I think I'm hoping we're at a point with our organization where we are making decisions. Like the video podcast is actually a better product than just doing the podcast. We tweak the audio a little bit, but it gives us a secondary way to do it. And now the coaches are comfortable. Like the fact that John Calipari is comfortable 100% using Zoom now is going to change the game of what we can do going forward. This has forced people to adapt. Our goal should be just to entertain people, because a lot of people don't like their jobs. A lot of people have stress with bills and whatever else. And that can be an escape, just something silly, something fun. And I think even more so now with the content we're doing with sports, it is important because every single person in the world is feeling the stress of this pandemic in some way. And a lot of people way worse than others. Mm-hmm. So find any little thing that you think is funny or brings a smile to a face. I think that's sort of the measuring stick right now for stuff that can be, used, stuff that you can use on your platforms.
And it's funny that you say that about Coach Calipari, that he understands how to use Zoom now, because when I met you like a year ago, you were like, oh, he doesn't do any of his social media. He doesn't have a laptop. He doesn't do all this techie stuff. And it's like 360. Yeah.
Well, I should say Mrs. Calipari deserves most of the credit for this.
She's the GOAT.
Yeah, we were joking that she had to walk so the rest of us could run, is the expression. Like, she has taken the burden and learned all this stuff. And so I talked to her. He did there was a video out there. Coach Cal surprised some admissions students, incoming UK freshmen.
I saw that. Yeah.
So we got him on there, and he surprised some kids and talked to them, whatever. But I had to work with Ellen on that. And she said, this is his third Zoom call of the day. Please make this the last Zoom call of the day, because he can do it. He can sit in front of the computer, but he's not doing the connection. That is Mrs. Calipari making that happen.
So shout out to the wife.
Yes.
And her Instagram is hilarious. So if nobody follows it, they need to follow it.
Yes.
And then I also saw you've been doing the gaming challenges with the players. How have they been liking that? And that's been pretty much a hit on Twitter. It's like the March Madness of video games.
Yeah. It was the University of Kentucky Hoops at Home tournament. And so, I think a lot of people, and we see it in the NBA especially, gaming is a direction where, kind of going back to what I was saying before, of it's going to force us to embrace new technologies and try new things. This was something we were working on and talking about, and it accelerated once the pandemic hit. So we need this. Yeah, we need this right now. So it was 64 people. There were students at the University of Kentucky, alumni. I'm trying to think how they all broke down, but it was mostly students, alumni, and then celebrity students, which were some men's basketball players, women's basketball players. We had Kevin Knox from the New York Knicks played in it. So what was funny about it is Emmanuel Quickly has been saying for 2 years that he's the best NBA 2K player in the history of the world.
Oh, God.
And he actually won the tournament.
Okay.
He won the entire tournament, and he spent the last minute of the game singing one shining moment to his opponent as he was beating him, which was also funny. But
firing from three.
It was cool. It was a new way to do something, and people embraced it. That they had an opportunity to. I think a lot of the users or the viewers, it was new, so they could kind of experience something different, and it was definitely different for us, and it was a success. And I was so excited, I knocked my sign down with my elbow.
Your Nick Richards sign down. I love it. No,
was kind of the requirement for it, but everybody just kind of had their own setup. Most of what we're finding too is a lot of kids already are doing Twitch. How old do I sound when I say that, by the way? Most of the kids are doing Twitch. That was the oldest sounding sentence of all time. But even in basketball, we're TikTok, yeah. The recruits have Twitch pages now too. So it's an avenue even for athletics where I think is untapped. That content-wise, as content creators, you can, athletic departments are about recruiting. That's what they want, right? Are we delivering to kids that are maybe going to come to school here and play football, basketball, whatever it is? And Twitch, I think, can be a big part of that. And that's what we're trying to figure out. And I think that Hoops at Home tournament showed that there's an audience for that. There's a built-in audience, but also you can pull some non-traditional audience into that. And, hopefully more to come. A lot of NBA guys who went to Kentucky after that announcement went out were texting, I want in, but it was already full at that point. So
that's so funny.
Yeah, so the 2K
who wanted
thing worked.
in that didn't get in?
Do what?
Who wanted to get in the tournament that didn't get in?
Oh, you want me to name names?
Yeah.
I heard PJ Washington because he played with Emmanuel Quickly and Tyler Hero very much wanted a shot at Emmanuel Quickly as well. And then some of Kevin Knox's teammates, when they saw him in there, said they wanted in. So we're trying to see if Devin Booker, he won the NBA 2K NBA tournament, if he wants to go head-to-head with Emmanuel Quickly.
Oh, there you go. That could be fun. You could do another round, and hey, you're going to need the content because we don't know how long we're going to
Exactly,
be here.
yeah.
But other than work and content, what have you been doing to stay busy with the whole fam in the house? I saw Nerf guns the other day on Twitter. What have you guys been doing to stay busy?
A lot of Nerf fights. So it's been in Lexington, the weather has been beautiful until this week. It snowed yesterday. It went from 70 to snowing, which is very unusual. But yeah, a lot of Nerf guns. I have a 10-year-old son and a 20-year-old son. So the 20-year-old goes to UK. He's home right now. And it's been nice hanging out, spending time. I will tell you, I saw somebody else who works in sports say that their family doesn't understand how they're so busy right now. And I feel the same way. I am on more meetings and calls than I've ever been in my entire life. Usually I'm kind of ramping down a little bit to plan. But, we get out and walk a little bit, trying to, throw the baseball. A lot of cooking is happening in our house. I love to cook. My wife loves to cook. And so now we're still early enough that it's we're cooking together, but I have the feeling this is moving towards a competition where it's going to be like one of these Guy Fieri shows in a week or so, and my kids are going to be crying about, you said you liked my sandwich better. So that's my fears where that's headed.
I love it. I know. The fights are coming soon within the family house. First thing you will be doing post-quarantine, other than getting a haircut, like you said.
Yeah, no, the haircut is killing me right now. I think, you know what, this is funny. I'm usually, I wouldn't say antisocial, but I'm a very reserved. I am perfectly fine being alone. I can listen to music and read a book and it will not bother me, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm missing being around the guys I work with and my friends. I think this is probably everyone. My first thing is I just want to go to lunch with my buddies from the office. Just go eat and just sit there and talk, because we did on Friday, some of the guys from the basketball program, staff members, we had a Zoom lunch. So we just put on the calendar for noon and made lunch. We all got on Zoom and talked for an hour and then closed it out just it was a non-work, nothing, just a hangout. So for me, I think,
Was Brady on there?
Do what?
Was Brady on there?
You should. Brady Kennedy has a beard going right now that is one of the most alarming things I've ever seen.
Oh gosh, I didn't even know he could grow a beard.
Neither did I. I'm a proud father of him now. I had no idea that he could grow a beard.
Gotta have Brady Kennedy right now.
Yeah. Who's also been busy. He's the recruiting coordinator for Kentucky basketball, and this is a very busy time with Zoom recruitment and players leaving. So it's probably why he has the beard. He doesn't have time to shave.
Well, TJ, you just went 6 feet apart.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I rock Kentucky blue. Yeah, and I rock Kentucky blue.